Lone Star State sets the scene for a doubly impactful MLS Next Pro matchup. At the foot of the throne, St. Louis CITY2 approach with coronation in their reach. All they need is the better end of the result to clinch the Western Conference title. That sounds like pretty good motivation, and yet Austin FC2 are driven by the drooling desire to make the postseason, currently sitting at the West's edge in the final spot. A serious slip-up in these final 3 matches could mean a fall to their demise in 2025. Welcome one and all to the show. My name is Mark Schoenster. It's Austin FC2 hosting St. Louis CITY2. Can't wait to see how this one unfolds for us here over 90 minutes. A lot on the line, both bragging rights at the top and, of course, fighting for a playoff spot if you're Austin FC2. And there they sit at the 8th place spot with their in-state rivals, North Texas, hoping they drop some points so then they have the opportunity to hop Austin here. Meanwhile, St. Louis CITY2, what a campaign this 2025 season has been. They're building off of last year where they made it to the Western Conference Final. They did not host that season. This year, they're trying to go just one notch better so then they can host not only any game in the Western Conference, but also host any game in the playoffs in general. So, here are the lineups for this match. It's a strong unit for Brett Utley's side. Jorge Alastue, who's been such a do-it-all man for this team. He can plug into so many different positions, and when he's played up top, where he is right now, he has scored goals. He has done it so well, the Spaniard. Some footballers, they've just got that level of quality, and he has demonstrated that all season long. 8 goals, 5 assists. They like him in the middle of the pitch, and he's going to be getting Dunchutsu, Burton, Faro, Gonzalez, and Torres all involved in the offense. Should be promising for them, and they need to be promising because they're up against the top of the table in the West. With that in mind, this is what John Hackworth will be running out with. A couple of first-teamers. Got Jaden Reed, Akil Watts, who are in the mix. Also worth shouting out Mateo Kidd, who has been stepping in and starting a lot more recently. The 27-year-old, not only has he been scoring goals, creating chances, but he also presses like a menace. So they will have their hands full, Austin, with what Mateo Kidd can offer. Meanwhile, at the top of the formation, Emil Jaskalainen, 6 goals this season, 7 assists. He's hungry to get back on the score sheet after what's been a little bit of a dry spell as of late. Wearing the captain's armband for St. Louis will be Gabby McKenna, as usual, paired up with Cam Seeley at the center back spots. And here is a look at Palmer Field in Austin, Texas. Visitors in the white unis going left to right, ready to go. And in the verde and black, it is Austin FC2 going right to left. The stakes have been set. Our officiating crew in the pink shirts today, led by Ismail Elfath. He's setting his watch. So here we go. We have set the stage. Now it's time for these 22 players to start, looking to establish themselves in this match. Jaskalainen will take it over to the right-hand side for St. Louis CITY2. This will be the 3rd and final meeting of the regular season between these two sides this year. Of course, just 2 games left for these two sides after this game. Alastue trying to feed it in centrally. He'll pick up the clearance. Jorge Alastue mentioned his versatility. We looked at the lineups. Dunchutsu has the ball played back to him. And a collision with Bonachera. I mean, a free kick. Ruben Bonachera back after red card suspension last game. Both him and Peter Grogan having been given a red card 2 games ago, so they couldn't play in that previous game. Match against Tacoma on the road. They were victorious 2-1. They were able to take a lead And then in around the 75th minute, they conceded, only to then find the game winner just moments later. An excellent response from Austin FC2 in that one. They know they need all the points they can get here. Torres spins it inside. Beret was almost able to get onto it for the home side. It's Torres on the ball once more. That ball crept over the byline, so ultimately harmless. Brett Utley had good things to say about his side after that victory against Tacoma. He really liked how they played defensively. He felt they were collective and dynamic. They were able to apply pressure and win the ball in some favorable spots, which is what led to their first goal, which was scored by Jacques Barreau. He said, I understand that Tacoma are lower in the standings, but they still have some really dangerous players, and that always seems to be the case with Tacoma, especially on the offensive end. Always got some players who can hurt you in a myriad of ways. It's always good when you can feel happy about your defensive performance against a side like that. Meanwhile, in regulation, St. Louis City 2 continuing a record-breaking undefeated streak. Now it's been a little bit more, I guess, murky as of late, because they are currently 16 games unbeaten in regulation. Now that being said, the past two matches have been draws, one of which they did not get the better of in penalty kicks. So really, for them, it doesn't quite feel like they're in hot form anymore. As a matter of fact, John Hackworth was pretty disappointed with these past two games against Houston Dynamo 2 and then after that Minnesota United 2. Though he did give credit to those two sides for really making it difficult, and those are two teams that are right in the thick of the playoff race trying to just make it, and there is a little bit of an imbalance with the desperation level of teams like that versus a team like St. Louis City 2. And although they've got something to play for in this match in particular, trying to clinch the Western Conference, it's just not the same kind of hunger as Mateo Kidd will take it forward. Kidd rolls it to his left. Chip back inside, falls all the way through. Play back over to the left-hand side by Miguel Perez. Although Minnesota and Dynamo Dos played well in those games, John Hackworth still felt his side weren't good enough in those matches. He's telling me that they've got to deal with this and have a good response. They need to get back to their game. Ultimately, though, if you're a team in this sort of position, top of the table, things have been going really well for you recently, at the end of the season, I almost think in theory, you want to see this challenge so then you don't go into the postseason matches still up in the clouds, because then at any moment, if you get tested or things go wrong, are you equipped to handle it? So you get a chance to experience some of that playoff rigor before the actual knockout matches begin. You can only simulate it to a certain extent, but it's better this than nothing, I would say. Of course, that's easy for me to say on the outside looking in. But I do think there's certainly benefits to taking a punch or two, and I say all this in mind. They still haven't lost a game in regulation in 16 matches. So it's not been so bad. Meanwhile, for Austin, they have to really be dialed in for these last 3 matches. They could be onto something here. Ruben Bonachera taking it forward now. Gets it out wide to Dunchutsu. Vlad Dunchutsu. He's met by 3 white jerseys, so he wisely retreats. Bonachera now sends this one across. They'll attack from the right-hand side, Austin. Here's Micah Burton. Burrow's knocked over by Kuzain and a free kick. Similar spot from the first free kick, except on the other end of the pitch. Juan Kuzain, the guilty man here. Him and Mateo Kidd will talk with our head official. Ismail Elfath, once again the man in the center of the pitch, looking to keep the peace today. It'll be Alastue and Torres by the dead ball. Micah Burton will also join them as Torres takes his leave. He was the one who provided the service on the left-hand side, but change of vantage point means perhaps someone else is more fitting for the job here. It'll be Alastue. Well, here's Torres waiting. He'll now send it inside, but it's just too far ahead of Thomas. Gomez wasn't too far away as well. Austin, they certainly need this result more than St. Louis do. I talked to Brett Utley, the man in charge for Austin, and asked him just how much are they paying attention to the table, because different teams have different approaches to how much they pay attention to what other teams are doing and where you sit in the standings. Some coaches could deem it as a distraction, and although I don't know how much I would agree with that perspective, because then you're just leaving it up to your individual players to be looking into it on their own time, because look, if I'm a competitor, I'm paying attention to that. Not to mention, given the demographic of this league being on the younger side of the professional ranks, I even more anticipate a player would be looking into it anyway, so you might as well address it as a team. And so they pay attention to it. And given the developmental angle of this league, some could also make the approach a little bit differently, but Brett Utley said, look, development is being competitive. You want to play and win. And of course, you don't sacrifice method in the process, but he's felt that in the 3 seasons that Austin FC2 have existed, they've had a good blend of being competitive in the league while not sacrificing the foundations and the principles of how they want to play. Pressure from St. Louis wins them the ball. Mateo Kidd rolls it to his left. Jaskalainen bumping shoulders with Antonio Gomez. Because when you play in a league where players are developing and growing, there's certainly corners you can cut in order to get more results, as in more wins, less losses, maybe turning some of those losses into draws. But that could be a disservice to that player's development, and then they won't be ready at the higher level to compete the way they need to, because if they've been cutting corners, they aren't actually equipped to win at those higher levels. So it makes sense to have a balanced approach to it if you're a team in MLS Next Pro. Perez does well there. Miggy Perez steps inside. Good find in the middle. Jaskalainen lays it out to Kidd. And for the first time this evening, a goalkeeper is called to action. Charlie Farrer punches it over. A hopeful ball over top. And Miguel Perez gets the better of Bonachera. Jaskalainen does well to lay it out to Kidd. Gets his laces through it. The 23-year-old goalkeeper, though, up for the task. which leads to our first corner kick. Donchutsu got a piece of it. And then this time, Perez a little more physical and will be punished for it. I mentioned earlier, St. Louis City 2 haven't been playing the way John Hackworth would like them to be playing the last 2 games. I mentioned that in the past 2 games against Dynamo Dos and Minnesota United 2, they're playing to the opponent too much, which is to say the opposition is setting the standard of how the game is going to look as opposed to St. Louis playing their kind of ball. He said, I want them to want the ball, I should say, and then be more composed once they have it. We, as in St. Louis, don't have to play their way. Torres rolling it back to Barreau. A lot of involvement in the midfield in that Tacoma match. Utley was pleased with that. Service whipped it in the middle. And there's Colin Welsh, the other goalkeeper. Well, both goalies have had to get their hands on the ball in live play. And 2 goalkeepers with college ball experience in Colin Welsh and Charlie Farrer. Jaskalainen trying to carry that one through for Kuzain. He's still on the ball. Play will go on. There's Jaden Reed. St. Louis City will have another opportunity to make something of this dead ball. Pile numbers into the penalty area. Ball sent inside, parried on goal. It took a ricochet and bounces over top for Makina. He was open on the back post. No one paying him any mind. The captain gasps. He knows he's let one slip by. Just completely overlooked by Austin. All by his lonesome. And he got connection on the ball, but it bounces over top of the crossbar. This one remains scoreless. Already some good chances here in the opening 15 minutes for St. Louis. Mateo Kidd with an opportunity, and now Gabby Makina with a huge opportunity. Donchutsu. That's by his pressing man. Bonachera plays it in centrally. Burton looked to feed it to the right-hand side. He had somebody open over there. Good intervention, though. Instead, offers a corner kick to Austin. This portion of the match is brought to you by O'Reilly, official auto parts partner of Austin FC2. Been a lively start to this one. And would you expect anything less? Two sides with a lot to gain. Good catch there from Colin Welch. Stretches up, and Welch with more so on the further end of his fingers, able to bring it in. Stretching, but claiming still sure-handedly. Utley called the St. Louis side a great team that has proven themselves with consistency. He talked about managing the moments going up against these guys. Tyson Pierce plays it to Cousin. He mentioned how dialed in his side need to be when St. Louis counter presses. He also mentioned how important set pieces will be on the defending end. It's already proven to be that way. Perhaps they mismanaged that opportunity with McKenna, though he didn't punish them for it. He mentioned set pieces, including throw-ins, and when talking about set pieces, it's not just set pieces for St. Louis, but also their own set pieces. He talked about how they conceded from their own throw-ins the last time they played against St. Louis CITY2. But the big thing he took away from that game, the last time these two teams met, which was a 4-2 victory for St. Louis, he learned the character of his group in that second half, because it was 4-0 at halftime, and he challenged his players to make a statement to nobody but themselves. They went out there and they fought, scored 2 goals. They have that motivation that they can dance with a team like St. Louis. He wants to see that similar intensity tonight, coupled with the fire of the playoff push. Perez rolls it into the middle, booted away by Barrett. Pierce along the touchline, cuts it in for Cousin. Juan Cousin will switch the point of attack over. It's Jaden Reed now. And another corner kick, another set piece for the visitors. Been a pretty open match. This is exactly what John Hackworth was anticipating with these two. He said Brett Utley and Austin like to play, and so do we. So I liked how this matchup was going to look on the pitch, and we certainly liked what we've seen here so far on the broadcast as it falls through. Jaskalainen with the clip on it. That'll be a foul on McKenna. Jack, we're saying they need wins, so Brett will have them prepared. He also talked about the last time these two teams played. He mentioned they were really good in the first half, and then Austin really good in the second. And he said we were just lucky to score some more goals than they did, so they're able to come away with all 3 points. Cousin's pressure wins it for St. Louis. Cousin, that's a lovely ball through. Jaskalainen lost the ball on his feet. Kidd with the cross off the face of Barreau. And he'll go to the ground, and he'll likely need to get assessed by the training staff. Took a ball to the face, and now he's clutching his head. Hoping the Ivorian isn't seeing any stars right now. It is never nice taking a soccer ball to the face. All right. St. Louis ready at the restart. Adrian Gonzalez able to knock that away from Akil Watts. Another corner kick on the deck for the visiting side. From the right corner flag. It's loose in the 6-yard box, and it's 10 home. It's Miggy Perez slotting it through. St. Louis City 2 take the lead. The ball reaches the deck right in front of goal, and if it's popping around, who knows where it'll go. Miguel Perez was ready for it, and he knocks it through, notching his 9th goal of the season. He's been so imperative to this side all year long. A player that John Hackworth deemed as perhaps the unsung hero of this team.
St. Louis City 2 goal scored by number 28, Miguel Perez.
Deserving kudos all season long. Just been so integral to this unit, and he's been such a consistent fixture in this unit. And although he's got 9 goals and 3 assists, I do think sometimes it still feels like his contributions to this team are overlooked. Kind of hard to believe, but he has just been that good for this side this season. This portion of the match is brought to you by Even Hotel, official hotel of Austin FC2. Worth noting, it's also pretty difficult to score against this Austin 2 side, so they've only conceded now 32 goals this season, which is amongst the best in the league. So any goal scored is a big one for St. Louis. Now, how can the home side respond? They've been good about responding all season long. Alice Tway in the 18. He's trying to do a lot of heavy lifting there. Jorge Alice Tway twisting about inside the penalty area. Couldn't quite find the frame. There's one thing, though, that Brett Utley is confident in when it comes to this group. It's their resilience. He said they've just been awesome in that regard. They've been down several times this season and have responded several times. And at this point in the year, they're able to rely on all those experiences, rely on their principles, and come through time and time again. They did it just this last game against Tacoma. After conceding with about 15 minutes to go, making it a 1-1 game, it was instantaneous. They retook the lead. Bonachera plays it up ahead to Alice Tway, who returns the favor. A lot of boots they try to have to dribble the ball through. Pierce in full stride. A lot of room to operate. Tyson Pierce chips it into the middle. Kept in play, blocked out. Irvin Torres parries it to the right-hand side for Burton. Mateo Kidd on the ball. Back to his side, a goal in the 23rd minute for Miggy Perez. It's given St. Louis City 2 the lead. If they can maintain this for the rest of the match, they would clinch the #1 spot in the Western Conference. Doing one better than last year. But that one position in the table is oh so important, as that would give them not only, of course, home field advantage in the Western Conference, gives them the first pick in the MLS Next Pro playoffs of who they'll go up against. Jaskalainen, all by himself as far as a white jersey is concerned. Now chips it to the left. Didn't have a ton of options there as far as passing. It's going to be a tough deal regardless of what he opted to do. And although they've got the lead right now, they certainly are not going to take their foot off the gas. When I proposed the idea of winning the Western Conference in this game, John Hackworth was very adamant about not getting ahead of themselves. He said, don't count the chickens before they hatch. That's what we're doing. He was very adamant about the fact that they have not been playing well enough as of late. And so they still have to go and get it. They have to earn it. But he was confident in what this group could do and how they could respond after 2 lackluster performances. He just wanted to see them get back on track more than anything. Look pretty sharp so far here. Perez. They'll just keep going. Miggy Perez was looking for a second. No one closing you down. You might as well keep going forward. You could see Ruben Bonachera looking at Joubert and going, why aren't you closing him off? Eventually, he needed to step in a little bit to at least feign difficulty there for Miguel Perez. It's just been a little bit loose here on this end for Austin. Nodded back towards the sender, out for a goal kick. This portion of the match is brought to you by CITY, official partner of Austin FC2. And some good moments going forward for Austin FC2, but a lot of space is being afforded inside of their own penalty area. It's not quite tight enough on that end, and if there's anybody that you can't allow room to operate, it would be this side, St. Louis City 2. Ref will award a foul after Mateo Kidd goes to ground. Right now, all piling in favor of the visitors. 7 shots, nope, now updated. 9 shots to 1. They've had 4 corners to just 1 for Austin. 3 on target, 0 for Austin in that regard. Colin Welsh basically is only had to catch 1 cross. Thomas doing well there. Alistue will pick up the loose pass. There's no one there at the end of that one, though. Home side need to generate some momentum here, something they've been able to do in their previous fixtures. Get a positive streak of play going. Brett Utley telling me that in each match they've been able to generate that momentum, but they actually haven't done as well to capitalize off of it and score. I mentioned in the game against Tacoma, they had a really good stretch of chances where they could have made it 2-0. They weren't able to do that, and then moments later they conceded, which tied the game. Of course, they would score moments after that, but flow of play is going in your favor, though, you need to be clinical, especially if you're going to make the playoffs, and even more so if you're going to win in the playoffs. Thoreau ejects it. That's a lovely touch from Alice Tway, and then he gets shirt tugged in the process. It's a yellow card for Caden Glover. Excuse me, it's Camp Seeley. It's his 6th yellow card of the season.
A yellow card has been presented to St. Louis City 2's number 43, Cameron Seeley, in the 32nd minute.
Welsh has that pass picked off. Burton plays it back to Alice Tway, steps by the keeper and scores! We are back level here at Palmer Field. The stars are out to shine tonight. Jorge Alice Tway with the dancing goal. Micah Burton was hungry for it. Steps on that careless pass from Welsh. And Jorge Alice Tway does the rest of the work. After Miggy Perez scored his 9th goal of the season, Alice Tway does the exact same thing. Number 9 for the Spaniard. Another player that I got to talk to a coach about, their coach of course, Jorge Alice Tway. A player that Brett Utley described as a different breed, a winner, super competitive and super versatile. Right now, playing at the top of the formation. He's a guy that they've plugged in at left wing, false 9, at the true 10, as an 8. The fact that he can understand any of those positions well, and his quality in each of those positions really shows how much of a footballer he is. He's also a leader on and off the pitch, according to Brett Utley, has an infectious personality. And I think most people in the world know people like this, but apparently you can hear his laugh from a mile away, so I know exactly the kind of person that is. There's a couple of those in my life, and I think we all love those kind of people. You want them in the middle of the pitch as much as possible. Keep them involved, keep them contributing to the machine. It's been a special season as well for Jorge Alice Tway. And in a big game, you need big players to show up. And we've now gotten 2 of those moments here, and that's not to overlook the contribution from Micah Burton, getting his 4th assist of the year. Mateo Kidd. This one now poked up by Seeley. Falls back down. Kidd! That took a glance. It'll be a corner kick. St. Louis City 2 had the answer, or had the lead, I should say, for 11 minutes before the answer was found by Austin. A goal scored by Jorge Alice Tway, assisted by Micah Burton. And it's more than just an assist from Burton. He was ball hawking. Although that flick on from Sealy was unsuccessful. They will get another go at it. Bending ball, two-fisted punch from Farrer. Watts lifts it back inside, headed up. Farrer gets a piece of it again. Tyson Pierce applying pressure. He's the one who knocks it out of bounds. One-on-one with Dunchutsu. Exciting to say the least in this one. Gotten goals from Jorge Alastue and Miggy Perez. Perez, a player that John Hackworth wants to see him continue to be consistent and continue growing. Eventually get his chance to play at the next level if he keeps doing that. He's a guy who's already gotten a chance to play for the first team in a friendly against Aston Villa. And without any hesitation, John Hackworth called him one of the best midfielders in MLS Next Pro, and he's as versatile as can be. So there's a lot of through lines between Miguel Perez and Jorge Alastue. Key contributors to their teams, versatile players. And now, of course, their fate's tied to the scoreline of this ball game between the two of them. Like I said earlier, Micah Burton doing a lot of heavy lifting also on that goal for Austin. Putting Orozco, I should say, and Colin Welsh in a bind, and then jumping on the pass and knowing where to find number 10. McKenna whips it inside. Kidd earns another corner kick. This will be the 7th of the first half for the visitors. Kidd's been busy on that end. St. Louis City 2 have been busy in the attacking third in general. Headed a long goal, but not on target. Orozco nearly picking out the corner. The defender, Hasiel Orozco, trying to give his team the lead once again and claim his first goal of the season. Another one of the first teamers playing for St. Louis City 2 today, though more of a regular fixture than the likes of Jaden Reed or Akil Watts. Kuzain up ahead to Kidd. Mateo Kidd trying to flick it along. He finds Reed. Jaden Reed fires! Stings the palms of Charlie Farrer. Very few dull moments in this one in the first half. That's a lovely ball to Mateo Kidd. That was played forward by Orozco. Oro deals with that one emphatically. Here's Kidd once more. There's a whole 360 surveying where he'd like to go. Thomas finds Alastue. He's got a nice radius of space around him. Closed off quickly though by Watts. finds Bonachera. Ruben Bonachera in his second year with the club. As time is ticking away here. It is 1-1 after two big names for each of their clubs. Has found the back of the net. Thomas gets tangled with Pierce. Ref says it's incidental. Alastue. It's a situation where Torres decided to let it go. I think he was more so the intended target there from Alastue. As we get closer and closer to halftime, one of the storylines we'll touch base on during halftime is how MLS Next Pro alumni are doing in the big leagues. And another name worth mentioning, CJ Fodre, Wednesday, turning into Mr. Clutch for Austin, scoring in the 120th minute to send them to the Open Cup final. Brett Utley was really happy to see CJ's development. He's now scored 2 game winners in 2 weeks, which is pretty amazing. Utley saying that it's a testament to CJ's hard work and dedication, and I'm sure for him it's really cool to see a guy who used to be playing on this pitch, playing in these matches, and has now earned the development he needed and is stepping up big time at the MLS level, at the Open Cup level. That's what it's all about. Who knows, maybe in the future we'll see Miggy Perez or Jorge Alastue or any one of these players scoring that iconic goal in tournaments and big games to come. If you're watching right now and that happens, you get to say, I was watching him before he went big time. Cam Seeley rolls it over to Tyson Pierce. Aquina, as the clock approaches 45 minutes, floats it up for Kidd. It's Mateo Kidd again. Trying to get by Burton. Closed off by Thomas, but not before it goes out of bounds. Another corner kick will be number 8 for St. Louis. And it may be just the last moment of real opportunity for either side here, because we're only getting 1 more minute added on. Time has flown by. Tons of great moments, the majority of them belonging to St. Louis, but the scoreline is 1-1. That's not out of the woodwork yet. Alastue launching it down the pitch for Dunchutsu. It's going to be him all by himself practically. The ref readies his whistle. Let's see if he'll even allow a free kick to develop here. It's quickly taken. Falls to Torres, he shoots over the crossbar. Good recognition there from Austin FC2. But that'll be the final transaction in the first 45 minutes. 1-1 your scoreline. Alastue and Perez having scored. Coming up, we look around the league from last week, plus highlights, stats, and a busy upcoming schedule. We'll be right back after this.
The youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan.
Luna.
Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
action.
I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Two playoff-hungry squads collide in the Battle of the Independents. Chattanooga FC and Carolina Core FC. Will the boys in blue secure the season sweep? Or will the Foxes earn their first win of the series to catapult them into the playoffs? Find out on September 21st, live on MLSNextPro.com.
Halftime here at Palmer Field. We've got stories on playoff clinching, chasing down league records, and Next Pro alums playing in the League's Cup final. April Marie Aguilar traveled to the Big Apple to file this week's report. Take it away, April.
Played forward by Farnsworth.
Curled Sandoval! Take a bow!
Diesel! An absolute rocket!
It was helped along for Adams, who recovers it here. It's Adams! Oh, it's a firecracker!
Welcome back to the report. I'm April Marie Aguilar, coming to you from New York City, outside the iconic New York Stock Exchange. It's Charging Bull, the perfect backdrop to represent the power and drive of the New York Red Bulls 2. From their rise in the standings to their young talent making waves, this team embodies both the grit and big dreams that define this city. The powerhouse New York Red Bulls 2, Union 2, and City 2 have all clinched a spot in the 2025 MLS Next Pro playoffs. St. Louis City 2 became the first team to clinch a spot in the playoffs following a 3-1 road victory over North Texas SC. On the eastern side, Red Bulls 2 and Union 2 punched their ticket to the playoffs, with the latter getting theirs less than 2 match weeks ago. We caught up with the Red Bulls 2 head coach Michael Bradley to get his thoughts on the upcoming postseason.
We've had a really good season up till now, and obviously with 4 games to go, we've qualified for the playoffs, but we want to make sure that we use these last 4 games to take every point possible. We want to make sure that we can give ourselves home field advantage for as long as possible in the playoffs. When the playoffs come, then we know that everything gets cranked up a few notches, and there's a little bit more at stake. There's a little bit less margin for error, but we're going to enjoy the part of testing our football in environments like that as well.
And with 4 games in hand, the Baby Bulls have a chance to smash the single-season team goals record, currently held by the 2023 Colorado Rapids 2 squad with 70 goals.
They stood out in their win against LAFC 2, especially on that first goal, had their fullback sprinting wide into the box. But here's Jaskalainen, laid off to Kuzain! St. Louis, our city, red hot. Glover leaking in behind. He's free, Glover!
Perez drags in the middle for McSorley. Falls back to him, and he scores!
Loses the ball. Kidd wins it back. Mateo Kidd shuts the door. McSorley. Kidd. Perez!
Now from the high-powered teams in the East to the dominant offensive threats in the West, nothing says we mean business than the more than 8 straight matches won by St. Louis City 2 to break the consecutive wins record. Their dominant performance also on track to break the all-time single-season points record. 66 points is the mark that CITY2 are chasing. They have been in fine form all season. They went on a run of 8 straight wins, starting with a 3-2 win against MNU FC2 on May 18th. The win streak was broken when they tied Ventura County FC on July 16th, but they gained an extra point in a shootout win. Interim head coach John Hackworth spoke to us about the team's run of form.
As a group that is unique, they hold themselves accountable. They're hard on each other, whether that's in training or games. Hopefully we have a really good push in the playoffs, being able to play in our beautiful stadium at Energizer Park and have our fans support us. That is, very special to all of us and something we're very proud of. So hopefully we can continue that.
St. Louis CITY2 has been unstoppable as they continue to ride a 15-game unbeaten streak going back to May 11th when they lost to the Town FC. And following closely behind and almost as impressive was the Town FC's 7-game win streak and 10 matches unbeaten. This matches the previous record in each of the MLS Next Pro seasons dating back to the league's debut in 2022.
Step over towards the end line. Cuts it, goes down. Penalty! Brilliant by Georgie. Yellow card given. Takes a step forward. And rolls it in the back of the net. The Sounders go up 2-0. They celebrate together in the far corner here. And here comes Rothrock. Can you put icing on the cake? Here he goes. And the 18, yes, he can! Oh, the Sounders fans up on their feet! And it's hometown hero, Paul Rothrock! And that's just about that. The Sounders will win the 2025 Leagues Cup.
It just had to be.
The pathway is real. The 2025 Leagues Cup final isn't just a battle between two MLS heavyweights. It's also a showcase for MLS Next Pro alumni making their mark on the biggest stage. Ozaze de Rosario and Paul Rothrock both sharpened their game in MLS Next Pro, and now they're suiting up in the Leagues Cup final. For de Rosario, that means proving his offensive prowess translates against top competition. In Rothrock's case, it was a hometown hero delivering in a final against Inter Miami. It's stories like these that highlight exactly why MLS Next Pro exists, a league designed to develop, elevate, and prepare young talent for moments like this.
What's going through my mind right now, it's crazy. It's a dream come true. What you can say, I beat Messi in a final. It's a dream come true.
Ryan Schmetzer told us you have been the surprise of the season. He said you're wide-eyed at training, you're hungry. Where does that come from?
The love, the passion. I want to be a champion just like my dad, and I'm a champion.
Congratulations to the Seattle Sounders and all of the MLS Next Pro alumni for showing up and showing out at the 2025 Leagues Cup. But now we're heading into the most competitive part of the 2025 MLS Next Pro season. Here are the dates you won't want to miss. The business end of the season is upon us. Both the Eastern and Western Conference playoff races are extremely tight this season, culminating in Decision Day on October 5th. The first round of the playoffs will begin on the weekend of October 15th, and it'll lead up to the date you won't want to miss, MLS Next Pro Cup on the weekend of November 7th. We can't wait to see what fireworks are in store. Well, that does it for this edition of The Report. Be sure to tune into the next episode for the latest around MLS Next Pro. For now, I'm April Marie Aguilar, and we'll catch you guys next time. Adios.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Wins it!
like my vibe.
Action.
Two playoff-hungry squads collide in the battle of the independents. Chattanooga FC and Carolina Core FC. Will the boys in blue secure the season sweep, or will the Foxes earn their first win of the series to catapult them into the playoffs? Find out on September 21st, live on MLSNextPro.com.
That's one of the many big matches coming up on Sunday in MLS Next Pro action. It's halftime here at Palmer Field, 1-1 your scoreline between Austin FC 2 and St. Louis City 2. Here's a peek at the rest of the slate on Saturday into Sunday. Just one game tomorrow between Atlanta and Crown Legacy. But then we've got the rest of the teams all doing battle as we're approaching the home stretch here. A lot of these teams, this will be their third to final match, much like this one is for Austin and St. Louis City 2. You're always going to be looking at that playoff line to see exactly which of these matches are of the utmost importance. I'm looking at Orlando City B and Huntsville City. That's a pretty big game. Orlando City B trying to hop that playoff line and get above Carolina Core, New York City, Toronto SC 2, who got 2 points earlier today against Columbus. Meanwhile, Carolina Core Huntsville City sitting at 6th place, trying to climb up the standings in that own regard. And now, that's all about Sunday. This is what's going on right now. 45 minutes through between St. Louis and Austin. A lot of opportunities for the visitors in this one, starting with Mateo Kidd testing the goalkeeper, Charlie Farr. He was the better for it. This will be one that St. Louis City 2 will wish they had put away. Gabby McKenna unmarked on the far post. Can't put it home, but they would put this one home. And it's Miguel Perez just outside the 6-yard box. The ball falls to him, and he does away with it nicely. But they wouldn't be done, St. Louis City 2. They'd continue to attack. Miggy Perez fishing for a brace, trying to pick out the near post. Knocked away by Farr once again. And then, look at Micah Burton here, applying the pressure. Orozco plays it back to his keeper. He doesn't look anywhere else but number 91, and Micah Burton recognizes it, plays it to Alice Tway, who then keeps his composure inside the penalty area, sidesteps the goalkeeper and scores. This will be one other chance before the halftime whistle would sound. Farr once again making the save. 3 saves for him in the first half of action. 4 shots on target to 1 in favor of St. Louis City 2. And we're definitely on the side with more opportunities here, as you could see from that highlight package. But look, scoreline's 1-1. It's any team's chance to take here in the second half, and the run of play could change drastically depending on tactical tweaks, personnel changes, the like. Players just running out of energy as the night continues along. We're here at Palmer Field in Austin, Texas, where although the sun's been down for a good little bit now, temperature just under 90 degrees. So I mentioned tactical tweaks, personnel changes. The latter of those two won't be realized here during the halftime break. It'll be the same 22 players out on the pitch for both sides. Although I'm heaping all this praise on St. Louis for their first half performance, it wasn't all bad for Austin FC 2, outside of course, the obvious goal they scored. Had some of their moments going forward, but you know they're gonna wanna tighten down on their half of the pitch. affording too many moments for St. Louis players to operate and make something happen, whether it be Mateo Kidd, Juan Kuzain, Miggy Perez, Jaden Reed have all had good opportunities. Jaskalainen as well. As you can see up there at the top left corner, my name is Mark Schoenster, excited to be describing this action in this big matchup. St. Louis City 2 need 2 points to clinch the #1 seed in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, Austin FC2 come into this match in the 8th and final playoff spot. Though currently in the active standings, they are in 6th because that's how tight it is right now. They were in a 3-way tie at 38 points going into the game. Watch chips it over, looking for Mateo Kidd. It wouldn't have counted either way because he was offside. But yeah, coming into this game, it was a 3-way tie for 38 points for Austin FC2, and North Texas is just a point behind them. So although they currently are sitting at 6th place with the active 1 point, they're gonna want more than that because those teams will be playing over this weekend and they'll have the opportunity to surpass them if 1 point is all they claim from this game. Though there are some counterpoints to that, and we can talk about it as the game goes along, though. There's no denying 3 points and 2 points are better than 1. Reed trying to sidestep Burton, who was the man who started that goal-scoring opportunity for Austin FC2 with his pressure. He was the catalyst, and Alistue was the finisher. Watching the MLSNextPro.com live stream of this match. Appreciate you tuning in, as this is the final stretch of the regular season. October 5th is the day of reckoning across MLS Next Pro. All the teams in the Eastern Conference will kick off at the same time, and all the teams in the Western Conference a couple hours later will do the exact same thing. St. Louis City 2 with the objective of making these final 2 games window dressing as far as where they land in the standings, though of course they'll still be tweaking and preparing themselves for the postseason. You can hear the crowd bustling about here at Palmer Field. Good support for the second team squad. In their brief history, Austin FC have really made a name for themselves as far as their fan support is concerned. They're all about the Verde and Black. And they have reason to be excited about them this season, at least at the MLS level, making that run to the Open Cup final. Burton stepping on that pass. It was a little bit behind the intended target. And then a collision here. There's the whistle of our head official, Ismail Elfath. Thomas running forward, squares it to Alistue. Jorge Alistue leads Dunshutsu. Trying to tease that ball into the middle. And in the end, all too harmless for the man from Illinois. Sealy rolls it back to his captain, Gabi Nakina. Pierce. Connects with Sealy. Sealy starting to find his goal-scoring capabilities in recent weeks. Reed throwing it back to Kuzain. And numbers lining up, ready to run if he crossed it. Orozco up to Kidd. Sliding in is Riley Thomas. Ball's not out of play yet. A lot of tussling for it over in the corner. We'll end up rolling out for a goal kick. It's always interesting how much different the approach is for a game on Friday versus a game on Sunday. And the reason why it's so much different at this level, of course, is where does that game fit in the schedule of the first team? Usually the first team's gonna play on Saturday, which is the case for both of these sides. And obviously that's going to affect who's available, how you game plan for the personnel you get to play with. And John Hackworth telling me that one isn't really easier than the other as pressure is awarded and scored. Emil Jääskeläinen stepping on the pass and getting on the score sheet. Playing out of the back gone wrong. It's a loose touch from Gomez. And Emil Jääskeläinen takes it and puts it away. He's been waiting to get back on the score sheet, Emil Jääskeläinen. John Hackworth telling me how hungry he's been as of late. He'd gone 5 matches without a goal scored, but now he's got his 7th of the season, Emil Jääskeläinen. John Hackworth actually taking the blame for his dip in goals. Talking about how Emil always shows up with a sense of humor, but with the resolve of a goal scorer. A player that's motivated and has that innate competitive edge, and I think that was on full display there. Steps in and gets one himself, putting his team in the lead once more. So twice today, a goal has been scored due to an individual applying some heat and forcing a mistake. And we'll get our first substitution as Vlad Dunchutsu will sub out and Jimmy Farkelen will sub into the match, and that's a dynamic change. Farkelen, player who can add another mock to this team. They're going to need it down a goal. Thomas rolling it back to Gomez. Will have to shake off that error. Substitute Farkelen on the ball now. Barreau switches it to Riley Thomas. They'll play back and forth, looking to see if they can sway this St. Louis team into a slumber. Gonzalez plays it back. Farkelen. careful here, Austin. They also need to be aggressive. Right now looking at 0 points. Which those in similar spots in the table will certainly be rooting for. This portion of the match is brought to you by Four Hands, official partner of Austin FC2. Already mentioned some of their names. Ventura County, Minnesota United 2, North Texas, Houston Dynamo, LAFC 2, Portland Timbers 2. These are all teams that are still in the mix, and any points lost by Austin are points that they can catch up. Thomas. Sends it over to Farkarland. Farkarland. Rolling it to Bonachera. Splits the defenders. Ruben Bonachera! Ultimately easy for Colin Welch to catch. Welch's 12th start of the season in his first year as a professional. This is where you need your leaders to step up, keep things stable if you're Austin. Guys like Riley Thomas, Charlie Farr, Jacques Barreau, all players who have been stepping up into that role. Nico Van Rijn, who was the captain of the squad leaving earlier in the season. A lot of players have had to fill that gap, but outside of those names I just mentioned, you also have the co-captains, Antonio Gomez and Jorge Alastue. Gomez wearing the captain's armband, but I've been told it's a 1A and 1B situation, so they're both equally in that leadership position. Torres lays it off for Barreau. Couldn't connect on it cleanly. Intervention from Mateo Kidd, who is always buzzing all over the place. There's Gomez now, escorting that one to the byline. You know, a player of his maturity is going to be able to shake off that last goal maybe a bit more effectively than that of one of the younger, less experienced players on the pitch. That doesn't mean, though, that the other guys on the team can't walk over to him and offer him some words of encouragement. A hopeful ball up ahead for Alastue. He acknowledges that, gives the thumbs up. Colin Welch in no hurry to pick this one up. The way this game has gone, though, is really fit right into that saying that soccer is a game of mistakes, because that's the way it really has been in this match. Jacques Barreau down on the ground. Cam Seeley already on a yellow card, as some of the fans in the stands are quick to remind our head official. Cam Seeley getting away from the action, but shouting back his thoughts on the matter. Jacques Barreau still down on the ground. Individual pressure has been the primary name of the game in this one. The last two goals having been a result of just that. Good look at this foul once again as Sealy has returned to the scene of the crime to plead his case. And I mean, it's nothing card-worthy, of course, but he does run through Barreau. Not malicious, but it is one where you've got a lot of limbs banging against each other. If you get caught the wrong way there, that can hurt. Man from the Ivory Coast. Back up on his feet. So he'll go to the sideline and he'll get waved back onto the pitch. So now a set piece for Austin. Alistue and Torres by the ball. Whether it be directly from the spot or indirectly, it has been Torres to provide the swinging service. Keep an eye on Thomas over on the right-hand side. Alistue. Won't reach its intended target. And now here comes Cam Sealy. Fresh off committing the foul. He's orchestrating the counterattack, but it's played behind Mateo Kidd. Perhaps just a bit late on releasing. Reed sends it inside. Jääskeläinen got his boot on it. And now Alistue. Burton was making a run, but it was going to be difficult to connect with him. This portion of the match is brought to you by Yeti, official and exclusive drinkware of Austin FC2. And a positive stretch of possession. I talked about the momentum that this Austin team can generate in a match. This turning into the makings of such a streak. Now can they do something with it? Gomez. Searching pass forward for Alistue. Parry it out to Thomas. Alistue. All right, now that's a learning moment for him. Everything going wrong for number 10 there. He goes to ground. He's appealing for a foul to be called. And not only does he continue to complain about the call and not get back up on his feet, the pass goes beyond him. If he had gotten up and kept playing to the whistle, he would have had the ball in space in the channel. And to boot, he gets a yellow card for it. See, the ball goes right by him. If he had gotten back up on his feet, as Riley Thomas was anticipating he would do, play would continue, and perhaps he wouldn't be getting the yellow card that he's been issued here for dissent on the matter. So that's one that, as a young professional, you've got to take into your notebook. You probably won't learn from it during this game right now, but when he goes back, watches the game, sees everything that transpired there, he's going to realize what, well, the repercussions of what he did, and they're layered. For a player of his quality, his caliber, you know he's going to have to take it seriously, as he does have that potential. Sometimes the cooler head doesn't prevail and you pay the price for it. I guess the phrasing would be the hotter head prevailing there, and paying the price for it is for Curlin. It was too far ahead of him, booted away by McKenna. Burton, tapped ahead, returned to him. Mateo Kidd continues to be such a pest when he's in front of you. I would not want that man trying to take the ball away from me in a one-on-one situation. Barreau is back into the game. Alice Twain out. Fark Harlan. Oh no. Alice Twain's just been given his second yellow card for the foul. He is sent off. Austin FC2 will now be shorthanded in a game where they need a goal at least. He takes down Juan Kuzain. Let's take a peek at it here. Is that a second yellow? I'm not sure that I agree with that. It's a reckless challenge. He's a little late. But I'm inclined to believe that at this point in the game, Alice Tway should still be playing. But here's the deal. You get into the ref's bad graces, which it was very clear Alice Tway did, because it wasn't just a yellow card foul. Sometimes you can just have a professional foul, a shirt tug in transition that you have to get booked for, but the ref's not going to be too irked by your behavior. When you have a dissent call where you make a scene for yourself, you're not on the good list for the head official. And then perhaps a foul that Ismail Elfath would consider just letting go, calling a foul and leaving it at that. Instead, he'll opt to go to his book a little bit more aggressively, a little more inclined to dish that second yellow card, and that's what's happened here. It's a reckless challenge. It's a foul. And now Alice Tway is out of the game, which is going to beckon a change here eventually for Austin, you would imagine. But first, a planned substitution from prior to the red card, which is Caden Glover subbing on for Mateo Kidd. Here's the second part of this matter that is also pretty devastating for Austin, and it's the fact that Alice Tway now won't be able to play in the match against Portland. They've got 2 more games to play after this, and one of them will be without one of their brightest players. So just a brutal window of time for Austin. 2 yellow cards in the span of 3 minutes. And with just 20 minutes to go, from the flip side of things, St. Louis City 2 are sitting really comfy now. Pierce plays it in the middle, knocked away by Jules Barret. Worth reminding, they just need 2 points, St. Louis, to clinch the West. Right now, they've got 3 if they can hold this one out, and recent factors and events have further increased their likelihood of that happening. Doesn't guarantee it, but it certainly increases the odds. Barreau knocking up ahead for Burton, and it's way too far ahead. And that'll be the last half run that Burton will make for the night. He's subbed out for Peter Grogan, whom they now need in the match as a number 9, given Alice Tway's exit from the match. Still worth lauding Micah Burton's effort to give them an equalizing goal earlier on in the match, back in the first half. This portion of the match is brought to you by St. David's Healthcare, official and exclusive healthcare partner of Austin FC2. The goal scoring starting in the 23rd minute, Miggy Perez getting his 9th goal of the season. 11 minutes later, the aforementioned Micah Burton applying some pressure, winning the ball, and connecting with Alice Tway to make it 1-1 before halftime. Here in the second half, though, in the 52nd minute, Emil Jaskalainen scoring, and they're on again. Glover gets it back out to Juan Kuzain. Falls down, Jaskalainen bounces in the middle. Glover trying to spin it in. It's off target. Emil Jaskalainen with the most recent goal, the go-ahead goal, getting his 7th of the season, applying pressure to a lackadaisical back pass. And Antonio Gomez with the touch just loose enough for the striker to intervene. Rips the ball away and finishes the job. After that, it was a positive spell of actions for Austin, but then 2 yellow cards to Jorge Alice Tway has flipped this game back in favor of St. Louis, at least in the run of play, of course, the scoreline having favored them throughout that previous positive stretch for the home side. Service lofted in. Jaskalainen, how about that touch? Feeds it back in the middle. Just a little heavy-footed there was Akil Watts. A tantalizing ball after just a buttery touch from Emil Jaskalainen to settle that ball in the penalty area. Reed rolls it over to Kuzain. They don't need another goal, but certainly with the man advantage, they'll push forward and try to really put this game to bed. It's worth recognizing that in a game where the press has resulted directly in 2 goals, it's a lot harder to apply that pressure when you're down a man, because there's already an inherent risk when a player goes forward to chase after the ball. Kuzain plays it himself. The save spills out and cleared away by Thomas. Juan Kuzain having a go. More of a string puller for this St. Louis City side, just a goal and 2 assists on the year. He's not at the end of the weapon, but certainly been a cog in the machine all season long, Juan Kuzain. Much needed veteran presence on the pitch. on the ball again. Kuzain drilling it in centrally. Jaskalainen still fighting for it. That's a lovely touch from Caden Glover. Reed sang it in centrally. And that'll be a booking for Cam Seeley. And that's Cam Seeley's second yellow card. At least I think it's going to Seeley. I mean, yeah, that's going to level this game. I haven't seen the red card get brandished from our head official, but Cam Seeley definitely getting a second yellow card. So he's been sent off.
Your attention please, the yellow card has been received to St. Louis City 2, number 43.
So it is now 10v10 out there.
As your second yellow card is red.
And perhaps some hope restored for Austin FC too. I was saying earlier, it's harder to press when you're down a man because you're already leaving space behind you when you press. But it's even footing again. And there's still over 10 minutes to go in this match. Here's the craziest part about all this. We've had 4 yellow cards in this match and only 2 players who have received them. What an interesting game we've been having. And it's not over. St. Louis City 2 trying to see this through and clinch the top of the West. Meanwhile, they've got a lot of teams in the middle of the playoff race who are hoping that's the result, because Austin is right around the playoff line with several teams chomping at the bit to get ahead of them. Gonzalez deflects off of Pierce, rolls out of bounds. Bonachera knocked over. You can see evident frustration from the man wearing number 3. And they'll go again. No time for Fitz. They've got to take action going forward. Bonachera with some room to operate. Ruben Bonachera. One-on-one with Pierce. Now roll it back to Gonzalez. Jaka Barreau carrying it forward into traffic. And a counter press wins it back. How about that recovery from Jaka Barreau? Riley Thomas switches it to the left-hand side. Service sent into the middle. Falls down, looking for Grogan. It was very physical in the 6-yard box between him and Orozco. Ten more minutes to go in what has been a pretty up and down affair. Here's Jaskalainen on the long ball. Emil Jaskalainen taps it ahead. Glover! That one with some zip. Not on target, but certainly had the pace. Shaka Barreau. Pulls it up ahead for Grogan. Three goals scored by three highlight players for these two sides. Jorge Alastue, Miggy Perez, and Emil Jääskeläinen. Two key pieces have been sent off with double yellows, Cam Seeley and Jorge Alastue. And just like I mentioned, Alastue will be absent for their next match. That's of course the same for Cam Seeley, but it just seems a little bit less problematic for St. Louis City 2, given their position in the table. Perez still with it. Now Tyson Pierce plays it across the middle, and Jääskeläinen throwing down Barreau in the process, looking to win that ball. Quick reset from Charlie Farrer. Woeful ball play at the pitch for Farkerland. But getting there first is Colin Welsh, putting his body on the line. Colin Welsh, 22 years old, knew he was stepping into the firing lane there. Farkerland is not just gonna hold up his run because a goalkeeper was coming. Not in a game like this, with the stakes that are on the line. Both of these teams just have 2 more matches after this in the regular season. Reed, double teamed and loses the ball. Gomez dribbling right by the head official, asking for him to get out of the way. It's an underrated skill as a part of the job being a center official. Whenever you see them actually get in the way of a transaction, it's a pretty rare occurrence because obviously they're doing everything they can to stay away from where the ball's being moved, but who knows where the ball's gonna go at any given point in time. So give kudos to center refs for, at a very high rate, dodging the interaction of play. Gonzalez playing it out wide to Bonachera. Ruben Bonachera with the cross, claimed by Colin Welsh. Two more changes getting ready for Brett Utley. Gilbert doing everything he can to just prevent the imminent danger as 2 substitutions will take place. Ruben Bonachera and Irvin Torres will sub out. In come Daniel Chesla and Chris Avila. Chesla, 20 years old, from Chicago. Avila, one of the academy guys. Five more minutes plus stoppage time to go. We only had 1 minute tacked on the first half. I would anticipate a little bit more being added on here in the second, given some of the drama we've had. Shaka Barreau. That's the captain. Gomez playing it out wide to Farkerland. He's now playing on the right-hand side. Of course, shapes look a little different now in a 10v10 situation as opposed to 11v11.
substitution for St. Louis City 2 in the 87th minute. Number 77, Dean Armstrong, replacing number 75,
So a substitution being made as Dita Armstrong subs into the match. He'll step in for Juan Kuzain. Barreau plays it in the middle. Chipped up nicely. Collision inside the penalty area. Play will go on. Thomas finds Farkerland. Rolls it back out to Jacques Barreau. Pressure being applied. Chris Avila before it's booted away. Time becoming of the essence here for Austin. They need to do better than 0 points. That is how Brett Utley approached this game to him. They can make do with at least a point. But 0, I don't know how much that's going to cut it. That's going to really apply pressure to these final 2 matches. I mean, they're going to be pretty pressure cooked as is, even if they get all 3 points, or if they get 2 points, which is more realistic at this point. Get the equalizer and win in penalty kicks. Farkerland. Guarded by Jaden Reed. Thomas. Back to Barreau. Couldn't be kept at play by Adrian Gonzalez. Meanwhile, for St. Louis, winning the West. Obviously, a big accomplishment. It's a goal that the players set for themselves this season, not necessarily the coaching staff, of course. They're going to be more focused on player development. And although winning and success is the job of an athlete, and they wanted to see success this season as a squad, the staff's objective is more to help the players learn how to win the little battles, not about a particular landing spot in the standings. But as John Hackworth was telling me, last year the players were irritated that they had to go to Choctaw Stadium for the Western Conference Final to play North Texas. They want all their playoff games to be played at Energizer Park, and for good reason. They get great support there. Farkerland plays in the middle, but it's too close to goal. Peter Grogan frustrated. Colin Welsh, after taking his time, will boot it down the field. Daniel Chesla able to win the ball in the aerial duel with Emil Jaskalainen. 2 big players, 6 foot for Daniel Chesla, 6'3" for Jaskalainen. All right, so we've hit 90 minutes, but there's still a good amount of time left in this game. 5 more minutes will be added on. Farkerland rolling it to Avila. Chris Avila winds around one man. Avila into the middle. And a corner kick incoming for the home team. Just the 2nd corner kick of the evening for Austin. Gonzalez with the service. It's handled by the away side. Farkerland plays another ball in. No penalty will be called, and Very handily done there by Jaciel Orozco. Should just bop that one back to his keeper with the header. Colin Welsh will milk away more that time. Markerlin winning the throw-in, glancing it off of Orozco. Not a good option here for Thomas. Chuck it back to his captain, Antonio Gomez. Gilbert can play the ball going forward. Center back capable of an incisive pass. They'll have to go short though to Gonzalez. That was not the look they needed. Armstrong couldn't collect the pass. Riley Thomas, hopeful ball inside, glances out, and Miggy Perez, the first goal scorer in this game, rips it up the pitch. Jaskalainen has it now, but a good sliding challenge from Barrett. Just over 2 minutes left. Austin FC2 have been pushing numbers forward. They've been trying to break it through. They haven't had a lot of clear-cut chances, though. Can they create one here? St. Louis City 2, just a minute and a half away from locking up the top of the Western Conference. They'd have home field advantage for the Western Conference playoffs. They'd get their choice in who they'd play in the playoffs, given, of course, the MLS Next Pro format of the higher seeds getting to choose their opponents. Can they hang on for another minute? Farkerlin wins another corner kick. Sit tight, folks. Get ready. This may be the final good moment for Austin. It's Adrian Gonzalez from the right corner flag. Service stepping down, takes a couple skips. Wind up shot, won't reach the goal. Farkerlin, he's knocked over, and it'll be another free kick. It's gonna be a nervy conclusion here at Palmer Field. Here's everything that happened. Jules Barret, he put some pace on that one, but couldn't get through the wickets, through the forest, I should say. Farkerlin and Adrian Gonzalez are by the dead ball. The wall has been made, composed of 4 men. Colin Welsh has constructed it. But can Austin break through it? Farkerlin at the death. Curls it in. Headed back across. Farkerlin still there. He'll look to put in another ball. And that's that. The best in the West. St. Louis City 2 clinched the top of the Western Conference. A tumultuous game that they are victorious on the road, 2-1. It was rough, it was tough, but they're on top. What a way to clinch the West. It has been such a competitive conference all year long. And they have just sealed the deal. And they have our man of the match, Emil Jääskeläinen, to thank for it. Applying some pressure. It's a pickpocket goal. And his 7th of the season for the Finnish striker. The game winner for St. Louis City 2 in a game that involved 2 players being sent off to go down to 10v10. But that is where the show will end for our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew. I'm Mark Schoenster. Once again, our final score 2-1 in favor of St. Louis. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow and more so on Sunday.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.